You're listening to the Creepy Kingdom Podcast Network, covering and creating all things creepy. Visit creepykingdom.com to get access to all of our articles, videos, and podcasts. Join our Patreon for exclusive content. Patreon.com/creepykingdom. And now it is time to open the crypt. Creepy Kingdom proudly presents the Creepy Kingdom Movie Crypt.
Hello and welcome to the Creepy Kingdom Movie Crypt, Creepy Kingdom's podcast all about movies and series. I am your host, Mr. James H. Carter, joined here by the evil queen, Roxy Todd.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. It's a good intro.
Thank you. I was trying to switch it up.
I like how you almost forgot your name. So.
My name?
Yeah.
No, I didn't forget it.
Oh, was that like a purposeful pause?
Yeah, I like to pause for effect.
All right, cool. I was like, did this man forget his name?
No. It's the pause to figure out what random way am I going to pronounce my name. That's all it is. Anywho, it's definitely been a while since we had a Movie Crypt episode. And a big reason for that is that the show is kind of, we're going through a little bit of a change. We're changing the format a little bit. It kind of started as a look back at films with a little bit of new releases sprinkled in. And also the format would be a new release, but it would probably be a few weeks after the film came out so that we would take kind of a deep dive analysis of the film. Sort of like a book club approach that you only really enjoy it if you watch the film.
Yeah, but we decided we wanted to try something a little bit different.
Yeah, I still think there's a place for something that kind of content, but we just kind of want to keep current and kind of preview things that are coming out because there's so much content coming out. During the current state of things, things have slowed down a little bit, but eventually the floodgates will reopen, and everything that's been pushed back is going to come flowing, knock us over.
You know, because of our business and what we do, we get screeners before they go out to the general public, and we always have people asking us, well, what did you think? And most of the time we can't put out our reviews until the embargo is lifted, which is usually right around the time that it comes out. And we were thinking, well, we'd really like to tell people about these movies before they come out so that they can have a little more information on them. No spoilers, but enough information to decide, oh, yeah, I really want to see that, or no, I don't want to see that at all.
Yeah, so we're going to come out on Fridays, stay current, and talk about what's coming out that weekend. Now, as we alluded to, and everyone's aware, the public screening business has come to a screeching halt.
Our lives come to a screeching halt.
Yes, our lives have come, but in particular, there's not there's no films coming out in the theater anytime soon. We have no idea when, it's going to be safe to start having public gatherings again, and nor do these studios. And every day that news is changing, and films that were supposed to be coming out relatively soon have been pushed back. And other films have had early digital releases when they were supposed to come out on digital, months later.
Yeah, and we have no idea what the future will hold, what's going to be on hold so it can go up in the theaters, what's going to actually just skip the theaters altogether and come out on streaming and digital. Stuff's crazy right now.
So with that, we're going to stay on top of it week to week and tell you about it because that's what we do. we at least know what's happening week to week. We don't know what's happening 2 weeks from now, but week to week, we can tell you about it.
But we will be here on Fridays to tell you guys what's going on in movie news for the next week. That is our goal.
And one film series that we've been already covering, which will definitely be happening no matter what every month, is a streaming series, which is the subject of this episode is the streaming series on Hulu, Into the Dark, produced by Blumhouse. Every month they put out a brand new movie based on or somehow loosely related to the month's holiday. I would say this particular episode was very loosely. Sometimes they're or more in your face with it.
But like you guys, you know how much we love Into the Dark. We're huge fans of Blumhouse. And so this is, whether they do screenings live, whether we see them before, in this whole thing, we know that we're going to be getting new Into the Darks. And we're, always super excited about it because we love them. I haven't seen a single one that I don't like. And
they're all different, so that's really saying something. Like, they're not really the same movie over and over again.
No.
Different directors, different writers, different themes, different casts, different vibes. It's only reason it's a series is that it's, I don't even know why they call it a series. I guess just to kind of say that, this is the brand.
Isn't it an anthology?
Well, no, an anthology would be a bunch of short stories within a film.
Got it.
So this is just kind of an unprecedented thing where they're putting out feature-length films every month on Hulu.
Because they like us. Like that, they like us. They like their fans, and this is cool. Nobody else has done it, so.
Yeah, and yeah, as we've been saying, we want to be your Into the Dark headquarters. I couldn't think of another phrase. We have been doing extensive coverage on our website of written content, especially over the past few months. Not only just reviewing the films, but interviewing the cast. We've been attending their cast and crew screenings, so we get kind of a first look and sharing all that content with you. Clearly, those have stopped happening. The cast and crew screen, which really sucks because for them, because people want to be able to see what that they're get together and see what they worked on.
One of the coolest things about it is getting to go to a cast and crew screening is really, really like a treat for us. That's it's not normally something that like media would get to do or whatnot. But what's great about the Into the Dark ones is that when you go, you really, really understand what like a family these people have become.
Oh yeah.
Everyone in that theater, it's like being in a room with just a bunch of friends who are having a party to celebrate this thing that they did. It's really, really cool to be able to go. And so once all of this is over and we can do that again, I'm really looking forward to it. But until then, we will talk to you about the movies.
Yeah, so all that being said, let's talk about this month's film, POOKA Lives. Now, yeah, no spoilers here. We want to give you a little bit of information about it. What's really funny is that this is the first Into the Dark sequel, and neither of us have seen the first one.
Yeah, that being said, you do not have to watch the first one to enjoy this one. In fact, I had heard I've talked to some people that really liked the first POOKA. I've talked to some people that really, really disliked it. So I was a little, kind of iffy going into it, especially since I hadn't seen the first one. But I really enjoyed POOKA Lives.
Yeah, it was it was an interesting tone. It was a playful, fun tone, which is the last Into the Dark was a little fun, but the ones leading up to it were, I would say, were not really fun. So this goes again to show you how they jump around. I mean, it was fun to watch, but it was very serious subject matter is what I mean.
Yeah, I do like though how they tend to balance serious subject matter with enough lightheartedness that it's not a downer.
Yeah. It is a balance. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, like the February one, My Valentine, they did a great balance with that one.
Right, but with I was thinking of that one. I was like, yeah, that one was not, it was a balance for sure, but there was some things there. I don't think there's anything too heavy in this one, but that's debatable, depending on who you are, because I feel like it really touches on some interesting subject matter. So, in case I don't really know I don't even know what happened in the first Spook, and I guess that's irrelevant here. We know that he's some kind of doll,
like a stuffed animal. I get kind of like a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like it's a Teddy Ruxpin, but it has the abilities of a Furby.
Yeah,
that was kind of what I was thinking.
So Puka is a stuffed animal that's kind of a bear, kind of a bunny, kind of a you don't really know what it is, and it's like the best-selling toy in this universe that it's in, and it repeats what you say, it can like talk back to you, very Furby-ish. So
yes,
that's Puka.
Yeah, a little Furby vibe going on there. And apparently, he got into some trouble in the first movie. I don't know. Anywho, but when we catch up here with Puka, he's a big hit. And the synopsis of the episode, or the film, whatever you want to call it, a group of 30-something friends from high school create their own creepypasta about Puka for laughs, but are shocked when it becomes so viral on the internet that it actually manifests more murderous versions of the creature. So, I mean, we have a pretty awesome cast here. I would say
I was
mostly.
just going to say we got to talk about this cast.
Yeah, mostly the people on the Into the Darks are up and coming unknowns. As far as I've seen, this is one of the first ones that I've seen that had a lot of familiar faces. This is starring Felicia Day, also a producer of the film.
Yep, and she was awesome.
Yeah,
I'm a Wheaton girl, so I'm already a Felicia Day fan, but I did really like her character in this.
I was thinking I hadn't seen her in a long time. Me personally, what was the last thing that she had done?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I have no idea.
But it's good to have her back.
Yep. And then also we got not a cameo.
It was a short role. A short role.
Will Wheaton is in it, and that was kind of cool. Like I saw who was on. I'm like, Felicia Day and Will Wheaton. What? Because like James said, this is most of these are about like up and coming and new talent and stuff. And every single one of these that I have watched, I have found somebody new that I want to see more of.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Which I think is one of the coolest things about it. I've discovered new directors, new actors, new music. I love that they do that. So when I got the thing and it said Will Wheaton and Felicia Day, I was really surprised.
Yeah, and then your mind was like, you thought the two of them would be skipping into Puka Land together. But no, I'll give it a cameo. I mean, it's a short role, a short spot there, enough to put him on the bill there.
Yep,
for sure. The lead person I was not familiar with, Malcolm Barrett, but he seemed familiar the whole time, and that was driving me nuts. But I couldn't even. I even looked up his IMDb, and I was like, no, I haven't seen any of these. He just seems like a guy, I don't know. Which I guess is good for the role he was playing. The kind of, like you could almost picture yourself in his shoes.
Right?
Yep. And we had Rachel Bloom. I think she was your crazy ex-girlfriend or somebody's crazy ex-girlfriend. And Jonah Ray is in the film. People might know him from Nerdist podcast and also the new Mystery Science Theater 3000 and I don't know, whatever else he does.
Okay, I know where I know Malcolm from?
Where do you know him from?
You're right. I'm watching it and I'm like, man, this guy looks familiar. Well, he's been in a few things that I watched, but there was a show called Timeless that was on a couple of years ago, and I really, really liked it, and I was sad that it got canceled. But he was on that, and then he was also in The Boys, which, I mean, you've seen that, right?
I actually haven't seen The Boys yet.
James.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to watch it. He was in Santa Clarita Diet.
I think that was like a 1-episode role. That was like the one that I had seen was Santa Clarita Diet on his. On his
but like, I mean, he's been in a few things. So he's been in quite a few things. But it makes sense that he was familiar. But I really liked him in the part.
Yeah, no, he definitely owned it. Just made it relatable, as we'll get into in a moment. And I also just want to tease that coming up later in this episode. We have an interview with Felicia Day that was done by our managing editor, Kayla. So you get to hear those deep questions. No spoilers there, of course, either. the inquiring minds want to know coming up. So it's a little tease there. So let's get into this a little bit here. You said you found it enjoyable. What's your main thoughts of POOKA Lives?
I did. It was funny. It was light. It did not take itself seriously at all, which is good because it's about a stuffed animal that and we've all seen movies with killer dolls. From Child's Play to The Boy. Like there's tons of them out there. But sometimes I have a problem, especially if it's about a stuffed animal, with that being taken too seriously, because it's like, I have a lot of suspension of disbelief, but I'm not like scared of Teddy Ruxpin. So I really liked it that they did not take themselves too seriously. The actors were like all in. You could tell that they knew that this was serious, but the story itself was really fun. It was kind of light and ridiculous, and I really liked that.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I will agree that the elements regarding POOKA were light and ridiculous, but I actually thought there was like some kind of deep subtext. Yes,
but it didn't have anything to do with POOKA.
No, it actually had nothing to do with POOKA.
It had subtext, and it definitely had something to say, and it's super relevant to the world that we live in right now, and everything that's going on online, viral and stuff like that. But none of that had to do with POOKA. So I liked how they balanced those two things.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, when I think about it, it's almost like two separate things. And I guess that works because, I mean, you're kind of rooting for POOKA, right? I mean, obviously you're rooting for the people that you're hanging out with in the whole movie, but you kind of want to see POOKA do POOKA stuff.
The thing about it though is, okay, and I do not believe that this is a spoiler, okay, because it's the whole POOKA thing. But POOKA, it's a stuffed animal. It has a little theme song, and the whole thing is like POOKA knows if you're naughty or nice. So it's almost like Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
Type thing, and that's kind of what they're going with, and that's the whole thing is POOKA knows if you're naughty or nice, and POOKA's gonna you get punished if you're naughty and not if you're nice, So I was totally down with seeing POOKA take out bad people, but
was he? Well, I guess that there lies who's bad is completely subjective here.
It is, but that was probably the one thing that I didn't like. Is that if you're going to stick with the theme of the toy, then anyone who's not naughty would be safe.
Right. Well, I guess how was that defined? And I guess that's part of the subtext, because what I found really interesting about this, I mean, which is not subtext, which is really kind of your face. This film is definitely commentary on social media culture.
Yes.
But it says it in the synopsis. They created the creepypasta for fun, and what they wrote starts happening for real. So, and that part of the film, I was a little, I couldn't figure it out. Like it was perplexing because I was saying, what is the film trying to say about fake bad stuff on the internet becoming a reality?
That mob mentality can make anything real.
That's one answer. Yeah.
I mean, if you get enough, there's three sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. If you get enough people to believe something, then that, whether it's true or not, it becomes the truth.
Yeah. That's so that right there is pretty deep. I thought that's kind of what I was saying. I was like, there is some kind of something to think about after you're done singing the POOKA song and doing the POOKA dance.
I wish this would go viral. I want to see all kinds of people do the POOKA dance.
Oh well, maybe they'll start after.
Maybe
after they watch.
It'd be awesome.
Oh boy. But overall, like I said, I mean, I think elaborating any more on the film would spoil it. Unless you have any other thoughts here.
No. Yeah. I overall I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorites from the series or franchise or whatever, but it was good. It was light. I actually had it on while I was sewing, which I really liked because, there are some movies that you watch and you can't do anything else while you're watching them because you have to pay attention to what's going on. And one of the things that I liked about this one is that I could do something else and have it on the background and I didn't miss anything. So I appreciate movies like that.
What does that mean? Does that mean that the narrative is all being spoken, so you don't have to keep looking at what's going on?
No, I mean, but I was watching. I literally had my laptop on the other side of my sewing machine.
Okay.
So I was watching it, but I didn't have to pay close attention. And sometimes I really like those kind of movies, but a lot of the time, because I like to multitask and craft and sew and whatnot, and so a lot of times I like having something that I can just put on and is entertaining and I don't have to give 100% of my attention to.
Well, I guess that's that. But like we said, that's certainly Into the Dark episodes vary from episode to episode. So you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, no kidding.
But since we haven't discussed any of the other ones on the podcast, why don't we just give a little bit of shout out to the ones that we've liked that we've really seen. I could start by saying my favorite one that I've seen. It was called A Nasty Little Piece of Work. Did you see that
right
one?
On. Which one was that about? What's the synopsis?
There was this guy that went over to his boss's house on Christmas Eve to play a bunch of demented games to get a promotion.
Yes, I did see that. Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I actually loved it. Like that was like
yeah, that one was good. I really liked that one. So yeah, I've seen most of them, but I can't remember all the names. So
okay, I mean, and that name doesn't really relate to the movie particularly. so I could see how you'd forget it. That was a lot of fun. So that's my pick for my favorite.
That's your number one?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't watched all of them, but pretty much all the recent ones I've seen because we've been reviewing them.
Well, my number one pick is February's, which is My Valentine. I swear it was just written for me. Like it's just
that was pretty much my takeaway. Like right after it was over, I was like, wow. That was like specifically made for Roxy.
It was, right? Right? It is my favorite. I don't think anything is going to replace it. I actually have both of the songs from that one on my Spotify. worked into one of my like normal playlists. I loved it. But I do want to give honorable mention to Pure. I really liked Pure.
Okay, I didn't see that one. What's that one about?
It's about, without giving anything away, it's about God and Lilith.
Wow. What holiday was that?
It wasn't. I don't think. Maybe it was like
Easter?
spring.
I don't know.
I don't know.
By the way, this was Easter episode. The POOKA Lives.
They're very loosely based. Some of them are like right on, but some of them are not. For instance, in my Valentine, it's mentioned like once, maybe twice, that it is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, the story takes place on Valentine's Day, but it's not about
Valentine's
Day. Yeah.
But Pure is the one that I've seen most. I watched it 3 times because I keep showing it to other people because I like it that much. And then the other one is Uncanny Annie.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch that one.
That one is cool. Really good. So yeah, those are my top 3. My Valentine, Uncanny Annie, and Pure are my top 3.
Right on. Well, before we end this episode, we did tease it, and we're going to deliver it to you right now. Here is Kayla's interview with Felicia Day.
So your character is very into mysticism, believes in ghosts and demons and things like that. Where do you personally stand on such things?
I am not so much that. I personally, I'm a skeptic. I mean, I did acupuncture for a while only because people told me it was good for me. I'm certainly somebody who needs a little bit more science behind, but also, I tend to believe in fairies a little bit more than an average person should. So I probably have aspects of both, but I'm certainly not the woo-woo sort of new agey person that Molly is, which is why it was so fun to play her.
Mm-hmm. What kind of preparation did you do to play her?
I actually, it was easy to prepare because it was mostly the camaraderie between the camaraderie between me and the other actors. That was really sort of the core. I mean, we worked a lot on the backstory about how she related to her friends and how they interacted in high school. And so that really kind of keyed in sort of the way that dynamic keyed in the way that we played, I sort of played her. I think the context of the group was really important. And in grounding her as sort of the motherly character in the group, the person who really was the one who organized all the activities, like that helped me as a core to sort of develop her character.
Okay. Did you have any maybe movie inspirations in your head when you were working on this?
To me, it's just like another episode of Supernatural, in a sense. It really does have that vibe.
Yeah.
Of, it's not like a horror, psychological horror. It's not like, it's an action horror comedy, which is really hard to nail the tone of, but it does it really well. And so it kind of was already, in my zeitgeist in a sense, because that's what I specialize in. I'm always the funny sidekick in sort of the Buffys, the Supernaturals.
Was there a scene that was either particularly fun or maybe really difficult to shoot?
A couple of it was just a very low budget movie, so those were all the action sequences are really hard because it was you couldn't go into overtime. It was all just great to get the clock the whole time. And Alejandro is from the Sam Raimi sort of background, and so he has always these amazing action sequences in mind, and he just puts them together so seamlessly and wonderfully. And Anna, our DP, was so fast, so them working together was just a marvel to see. So, it was challenging, but always fun, and I come from a lot of low-budget filmmaking, too, so standing around on set just constantly shooting is fun for me. I get bored when there's too much time. Yeah.
I totally get that. When I'm too, I don't like being idle.
Exactly. I don't either. So I sometimes that's why I love producing and acting and writing at the same time, because if I was just acting, I would just be bored out of my mind.
Now, so since this movie has a lot to do with, kind of lore and urban legends on the internet and things like that, were there any urban legends or creepy stories that really freaked you out as a kid?
I mean, I have to tell you, I was so creeped out as a kid constantly that it took very little. Like one time I turned my head and a flower just like, I was haunted by a flower because it was like just a bud, and I turned my head and I turned back and it was a flower, and I was like, how did that happen? And I can vividly remember the horror of this flower. So that's how dorky and nervous I am as a child. Like a flower haunted me. It was a dandelion, that damn dandelion.
Dandelion.
I have no tolerance for any horrible, so it really is like, I am the wimpiest of Wimptons. So, no, I have to be very careful about what I expose myself to if I ever went to sleep.
Okay, so you're not a big horror person yourself either.
I mean, I love the sort of like Guillermo del Toro kind of horror, like, the off horror. I certainly, psychological horror I will do, although it really, it traumatizes me. But anything that's more gory, I totally avoid. Unless it's like Evil Dead, which I eat that stuff up. So that's why I love this, because the over-the-top sort of scream, the stuff that borderlines into parody is I just can't have it take itself too seriously or be too, like, Saw will never happen. Sorry.
That's fair. Now, again, because this is, internet heavy, what is your least favorite internet trend?
Oh, God. I mean, there's so many of them. It's, I don't like pranking children. That whole thing where they threw kids cheese in kids' faces, or I feel really uncomfortable. I was watching TikTok the other day for like an hour in bed because, I was away working, and what else do you do as a mother who has free time on her hands? And I was like obsessed with all the beauty stuff. I was laughing so hard, but then when people were doing like funny things to their kids, I'm like, this is not cool. Like, and I don't generally like pranks in general. I think they're kind of like mean-spirited. So that is like the least of my vibe. So anything other than that, like, that's fine. But yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. Especially kids, they don't know. They don't know what's going on. Or animals. And like animals, that's why I get really into animals who are, I believe animals on screen more than people because animals don't know they're acting.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, when you're watching, I love horror. When I watch horror, you don't think about you're watching all of these, people get attacked, but like a dog walks on screen and I'm just like, if they touch that dog.
And the dog knows, man. The dog knows.
Yep. They're so intuitive. Oh my god!
Well, they don't know they're acting. They just think they're doing their dog.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that we're having this anti-prank conversation on like the, prank day.
Well, that's why I refuse to believe it. I hope people aren't like getting into it right now because I'm just like too irritated. This is not the time to prank people. Okay? Nobody needs that right now.
Exactly. Now is like. I was looking at stuff this morning to see like what I'll be working on today, and I was just like so nervous. Like, let me read this multiple times, make sure it actually happened.
Yeah, exactly. I don't ever appreciate it. I'm always just like, just log me off.
Hard pass. And so, what do you think the takeaway is for this movie with the bad things on the internet coming true?
I mean, I think what I love about this is that it does sort of, just like we're all bridging now, like we're all kind of getting jaded about how bad the internet is, quote unquote. And I'm the kind of person who started like old school internet where I believe in the power of the internet to bring people together. Mm-hmm. And that was always my naive. And then things got dark. And then now, I think right now, we're seeing a resurgence of people connecting in real ways and having personal connections and educating themselves and feeling accepted and being enhanced by the internet because we're all in our houses and we're all genuinely putting our best foot forward on the internet as well as our worst. And it's kind of drowning out the worst, it feels. And so I think it's kind of great because this movie is about somebody kind of rekindling their roots and finding strength out of kind of the trauma that the internet is putting on them, but their friends get them through. And so I love that analogy. It seems like a perfect mood to be releasing right now.
Yeah, I think something I've also been talking about with friends is like for example, Twitter in particular, it can be so toxic and negative, but you just have to be diligent about like curating. Like, who are you following? Yeah. What kind of, news and feedback are you getting? But like you said, it's all about community. You just have to be careful about who's in your, online. Well, now we mostly only have online during this.
Yeah, it's membership. It's almost like membership only,
Yeah.
You just have to I have thousands of people blocked on Twitter over the years, and I've been to, and at one time I felt like I needed to please everybody, and I couldn't block anybody, and I'll just, you have that sort of desperate thing, like, I gotta please everybody to be popular, and once you let go of that, you're like, you know what, I'd rather have 1,000 dedicated fans than 10,000 where 2,000 are abusing me and them. I found that the safer you make your community, the more, people want to be there. Like, you don't want a restaurant where people just throw water in people's faces.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, you don't do that. So, like, policing, in a sense, like, making sure that your online environment is healthy for you and everybody you love is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just because, this is the world we live in, what are some things you're doing to, stay sane while we're all safe at home?
I have a 3-year-old, so staying sane, it's a little bit hard right now. I'm trying to get a little bit of, 1 hour productivity is what I'm just expecting for myself. And so I'm like, you know what, any more than that, you don't need to. I'm giving myself permission to not be as productive as I feel like I should be. Because we're all kind of living in trauma, and I'm cooking a lot more. I'm reaching out to old friends a little bit more, which is like, it kind of really shows you who really count in your life versus like, oh, these are the relationships I maintain for reasons that are not really that important. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to do, I'm trying to stream more. I'm streaming Twitch a lot more just because my community gives me joy and I love it. And I'm trying to, just do hobbies. Like, if I want to play the mandolin today, I'm like, all right, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Retirement is awesome.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I know things are crazy, but this movie, like you said, it's really fun. It's a fun combination of, creepy, but not, but it still has a lot of fun. So I'm just
glad you like it. I think people are going to like it. I think it's kind of the perfect tone. Nobody's signing up for being traumatized right now. Okay?
No. Exactly. I want my entertainment to be escapism and just, happy and
yeah, that's exactly what we have here. It's awesome.
Well, thanks again, and stay safe and good luck with everything right now.
Great. Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Safe. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, isn't Felicia Day just so pleasant and charming?
She is. I love her.
That was a delight to listen to. We thank her for chatting with us. And we actually have more POOKA Lives coverage coming your way on our website in the form of the written word.
Not only do we have more of an interview with Felicia Day, but we also will have an interview with Jonah Ray, who plays Felicia Day's character's husband in the show.
Yeah. Oh, actually, and my final thought about Jonah Ray, every time I've kind of seen him do whatever he does, he's usually pretty stiff and tense.
Okay.
That's like a vibe I get from him. And his role in this film was very the opposite of that, which I found very, very amusing.
Nice.
So good on him. We also have the full review of POOKA Lives on our website. It should be up right now as you're listening to this. So if you want more before you watch it, you could read that. If you just want to come back and read it afterwards,
you can do that too.
You can do whatever you want. But that's going to conclude this episode. But we do have a little bit of a tease of the episode we'll be covering next week. We'll be covering a film called We Summon the Darkness. So what do we know about this one?
It stars Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville as a priest.
As a priest.
He's not someone I've been seeing in the public eye recently.
No, not much. I haven't read anything about this movie. The only thing I know is from looking at the poster art. I know it comes out next Friday. I know it has Johnny Knoxville as a priest, and it looks kind of dark. But I'm really, really excited to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know too much more. I know a little bit more. I know that somehow this film is heavy metal themed, so that's something going on there. But for the most part, we're going to go into it blind before we watch it and tell you guys about it. But so you guys won't have to go into it blind. But that's coming out next week on streaming. Oh, there's the. You got to wrap it up now. There it is.
Some places have the cane that pulls you off stage. Yeah. We have that alarm telling us to wrap it up. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you at the movies.
No, now we say it. Now it's time to close the crypt.
This podcast has been a production of the Creepy Kingdom Podcast Network. Executive produced by James H. Carter II and Ryan Grulick. Visit creepykingdom.com to get access to all of our articles, videos, and podcasts. Join our Patreon for exclusive content. Patreon.com/creepykingdom. Until next time, this is Hannah reminding you to keep it creepy.